as a lot of Americans and people from all around the world are coming to the nation's capital ahead of the major 250th birthday events here, how important is it for you to really keep delivering on these results, but also what does it mean for America's identity on the national and international stage?
So I'm very proud of DC because when we came here a little more than a year ago, it was a very dangerous place. And now it's a very safe place. It's been incredible what's happened as you see the crime numbers. We had restaurants closing up and nobody wanted to go to a restaurant. They were afraid to walk to work. It's very, very dangerous place, very unsafe. And now it's a very safe place. We brought in the National Guard. We worked with Cash and the FBI, and Janine is doing fantastically, and Todd, everybody. And it's now a very safe city, and people are pouring in, and you see the grass is all beautiful. We put a lot of new grass in because, like people, grass has a life too. And this grass, it was about a long time.
To be honest with you, the National Guard has worked wonders in DC and Memphis. It's low-key turned the city around, or even they've cleaned up crime, picking up trash. I know everybody, well, that's not their job. Well, you should be happy that they at least cleaned up crime so much to the point where they don't have to do anything but clean up trash. You guys should be happy about that. And honestly, the fact that it took the National Guard instead of your own local, politician, your own mayor, district, congressman, instead of them actually doing something about it, once again, you had to wait for the president to do something extreme is outrageous. This is why I'm not really hearing it from none of these blue cities that be like, oh, we don't want the National Guard here. Bro, you need the National Guard there because you guys don't know how to uphold order in your own damn district, city, or state.
But the waterfalls we talked about and the fountains most of them are in the final stages or fixed. People are writing me letters. People are talking about it. We have some of the most beautiful fountains in the world. And there wasn't one, not one that worked. We had 29. Out of the 29, not one was worked, in addition to the reflecting pool, which is even, that was the big one of them all, but that was a disaster. So with all of that, and this place is looking beautiful. I rode through it yesterday. Where the fences are down. The homeless aren't staying here any longer. We're helping them out, but we're not, we just can't have them in the nation's capital. And when foreign dignitaries come in, they're saying, the first thing they say to me, this place has really changed. They saw that it was going down. Our whole country was going down, just like DC was going down. And as you know,
it does sound kind of effed up the way he's saying it. Instead of trying to help fix homelessness, let's just sweep them under the rug. So, when world leaders come over, we don't look bad. It's like, well, damn.
Restaurants were closing up. There weren't very many restaurants, and now they're opening up. You can't get a space, and everyone's going out to dinner, and they're safe. And we have the national security, and we have the National Guard, and we're going to keep them. I want to, by the way, just in case I mentioned, keep them. And don't lower the number either. So somebody said, oh, are there less? I said, I hope not, but don't lower the number if you don't mind. Okay.
We're going to surge this summer too.
Yeah. They look great. You know what? They give people, we took out 5,000 criminals, hardcore criminals. By the way, 90% of the crime is calculated. They count 2% of the people do 90% of the crime. That's a great number. Because when you get rid of 2% you can get rid of. 90% you can't get rid of, 2%. So 2% create 90% of the crime, 91% actually, to be exact. And we moved 5,000 people, Todd, out of here. These are career criminals. Many of them came over from the last administration through the open border, the ridiculous open border, no vetting. Nobody knew who they were. They came out of prisons. They came out of They're drug dealers. There were people from mental institutions. And Washington, D.C. is now a safe and beautiful place. And it's only going to get more beautiful. Yeah, please.
President Trump, thank you so much for having us in here today. What are your thoughts? Why do you think that Joe Biden is trying to sue the Department of Justice, former President Joe Biden, to have his tapes that he did interviews on blocked from the American people hearing them? Do you think that he's trying to hide something, and maybe Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche could?
I mean, maybe he was trying to hide how bad his mental decline was. I can see why he'd want to cover that up, because then it would make the people around him look even more duplicitous for hiding it. Like, I'm pretty sure they released those tapes. Either he said too much about something, or bro, his cognitive decline was just so bad, and it was just so obvious in those tapes that it's just going to make the entire Biden administration look even worse than they already have for hiding it. And let's be real, I'm pretty sure like Biden's had mistakes like that before the debate with Donald Trump. Before that, I'm pretty sure he had crash out moments like that. But the problem is, though, the Dems were trying to sit there and save face and say, oh my God, that was like the first time Biden's ever got that bad. He's had his episodes. But when he debated Trump, oh my God, that was the worst we've ever seen. When even I'm sitting here like, no, he's done this before. You guys were just hoping he wasn't going to do it again.
Comment on if they will countersue and release those tapes to the American
Are
public.
you talking about it with respect to his book?
With respect to his
Well, I'd
members.
like to see it. I don't know. Maybe there's some constitutional reason. I don't know. I would like to see what he has to say, because we can never allow what happened to this country to happen. The man was grossly incompetent, and the Democrats, I call them the Democrats because the policy is so bad, but they came very close to destroying our country. We can never let it happen again. And I hope that you're able to produce that. I think it would be a very interesting reading for people.
On the Strait of Hormuz, Mr. President, Iran wants control of the Strait of Hormuz. Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control
It's
it?
international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave just like everybody else, who will have to blow them up. They understand that. They'll be fine.
Mr. President, thank you. How much economic pressure do you feel to get the Strait of Hormuz open?
Well, you have to say, the United States has so much oil that we are an exporter of oil. So we have plenty of oil. We're very lucky. We're blessed with the greatest piece of land in the world from that standpoint, and we have more than anybody else. And now when you add Venezuela to it, we have, I think, 64% of the world's oil. And
yeah, but that doesn't help with oil pricing. I mean, it helps the oil execs make money, but it doesn't help the American people, get cheaper gas, especially with this war, and especially with the market saying that we won't see $3 gas until 2032. So yeah, you can sit there and be, oh yeah, we're becoming one of the biggest producers. We have all these barrels of oils coming in from our own refineries in Venezuela, but that doesn't help the global price of gas.
we're getting along very well with Venezuela.
Or really the global price of a barrel of oil.
By the way, it's being run really beautifully. The big companies are moving in. It's going to be amazing, because it's also like us. They're very blessed in that sense. But we have natural energy that no other country has. We have more than anybody else. So it's really a world problem, because most of the world doesn't have that. And we're making it available during the closing. I don't know if you've seen some of the satellite pictures. Boats, hundreds of boats lined up. It looks like, I used to say, the Long Island Expressway with cars. They're lined up, and they're coming to Texas, Louisiana. They're coming to Alaska to fill up their boat. They're big boats. Some of them are really big, 2 billion gallons, even bigger than that now they make them. They make them up to 4, Chris, I hear. Now they make them up to 4. The 4 are now the big ones. Used to be the ones. Now it's 4 million barrels of, think of that, 4 million barrels of oil in one boat. But they're lined up, and they're right now heading to Texas, and they've already filled up, and they've gone back. In addition to that, you have a lot of boats. You have about 1,500 boats in the strait wanting to get out, and at the right time, we'll release them.
But the American people are seeing higher gas prices.
Yeah,
now it's come down a little bit, but it's still $4.45.
Oh, it'll come down a lot. It'll come down to where it was before. We had it.
No,
when I was
it
in
won't.
Iowa, we had driving by, and
No, it won't, bro. Even all market experts are even saying that no, it won't come down for years. Even I was wrong, and I said, bro, it's gonna take probably like 6-7 months for gas prices to come down. Well, the way they added everything up, from the fact that the supply chain is gonna need time to catch up and all that good stuff, and the fact that a lot of people are going to actually need to refill up on their reserves because the fact that everybody's emptying them, that yeah, it's going to take a while for oil to get back down to that $3. And this is why I hate about war, because the damage that war causes in 2 months or just in months takes years to fix. And that's what a lot of people did not want to understand for some reason.
we saw gas stations $1.90 a gallon, $1.85, $1.87 were the three that we saw. We had it down in some places below. And we can't help in California where they charge so much tax that, you know, you lower it and they charge tax. They've got to straighten the act out in California. But we had gasoline down to a very low number. I think we'll be hitting that number shortly after that whole excursion ends.
Does that give you more
But
urgency?
regardless of anything, as Marco said better than anybody can say it, you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. They would use it instantly. They wouldn't think about it. They would use it instantly.
Yeah, that's a lie. If they had a nuclear weapon, it's not that they would use it instantly, it's that we'd be forced to leave their ass alone and never to return, just like we did with North Korea. I mean, just like we had to do with Pakistan. Yeah, Pakistan and North Korea did not have a nuke, they would be overthrown by now. And I think we all know that. And they've been fear mongering this forever. Like, oh, well, as soon as they get a nuke, they're gonna strike us, they're gonna strike us, they're gonna use it immediately. No, they're not. If they get a nuke, the only reason they got it is because they understand that that's the only way you're gonna get left alone on the global stage. Like, that's just the reality. No, if they get a nuke, they're not just gonna fire it off at Israel, not just gonna fire it off at the United States. No, they're going to use it to make us leave them alone, like North Korea did, just like Pakistan did.
I've gotten to know them. They would use it instantly.
Does that give you more urgency, Mr. President? You've said that you're in no rush to make a deal, but with gas prices that are still high across the country, people are paying more for travel. Does that give you more urgency to make a deal? Why doesn't it?
Well, I'll tell you, the primary urgency, if I said this, it wasn't covered properly, but the primary urgency is that we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. But at the same time, we have a tremendous amount of oil, gas, coal. We have tremendous amounts of energy. We're blessed with something very special. Those prices are going to come down. They're going to come down fast. I think that you'll see, actually, Todd, I think you're going to see lower prices that we had even before we did this. Now, I knew there'd be an increase. I said, we have a choice. We don't have to do anything in 2 years or 1 year or 2 months, because Iran would have had if we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks from that.
That is oh my God, that is such a lie. Like, bro, for that to be real, they would have to be at 90% enrichment. They were still at 60%. They've been at 60% enrichment since 2021. So that's complete bullshit what he's saying, because they were still at 60% enrichment when we bombed them, or we bombed Mount Fordo. So no, I mean, them at 60% enrichment doesn't equal 2 weeks away from a bomb. And I mean, if anybody who knows anything about this nuclear enrichment and how to make a bomb would tell you that, yo, that's complete BS. No, they weren't 2 weeks away from making a nuke. I mean, maybe 2 weeks away from 90% enrichment, but that's not a nuke. And then actually to get to that nuke, I'm gonna be real with you, it's gonna be a race against time, because we're gonna know when they enrich to 90%. Then it's going to be a race against time for us to stop them, for us to actually be able to get it on a warhead capable enough to, you know, reach over to us. And if we can verify that they have that capability, then guess what happens? Well, is either we go all out and try to destroy them, or we back the hell off like we did with Pakistan and North Korea. And that's what most like we're going to do. We're just going to back the hell off, tell Israel, look, man, we tried our best, but it is what it is. All right, let's get back to it. Oh, and make sure to like the video.
Because they were ready to go. And if they had a nuclear weapon, it would have been used already. It also would have been used had I not terminated the Obama deal, the Iran nuclear deal, as we call it. That was in my first term. Had I not terminated that, they would have had a nuclear weapon a long time ago. I would say it was a guarantee that it would have been used. And it would have blown up Israel. It would have blown up the entire Middle East. And that's never going to happen. Yeah,
Mr. President, on your shooting
on
last
Iran, would you be comfortable
Such a
with Russia
lie.
or China taking their stockpile of highly enriched uranium, and have they offered to do that?
No, I wouldn't be comfortable.
Mr. President,
That would not make me comfortable.
Is the U.S. considering easing sanctions on Iran to allow Iran to sell its crude to market?
No, we're not talking about any easing of sanctions or giving money, no sanctions.
I mean, then you won't get the enriched uranium. And this is probably why, well, guys, let me go ahead and read it off to you now. U.S. carries out new strikes against Iran against Iran military sites. And this came out an hour ago. So yes, U.S. forces conducted fresh strikes on an Iranian military site Wednesday, which is today, intercepting and shooting down multiple Iranian drones. Officials officials cited threats to American forces and commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, which is absolutely asinine because, well, let's be real. The ships been in the way. They've been able to be shot at, but they weren't. So they're not saying that, oh, Iran shot missiles at our ships. No, Iran shot drones and missiles at our aircrafts that were trying to bomb their military sites inside of their airspace. AKA, we are resuming strikes on Iran without admitting it, without saying, yeah, we're breaking the ceasefire for some strange reason. And you see, we're hitting military sites, trying to get to Quran to concede while feigning diplomacy. Like, this is outrageous. And yes, to be quite honest with you, sitting there saying, oh, they're a threat to America and and commercial shipping. All right, well then why didn't you just break what was the point of even a ceasefire? Because they've been a threat to America and a threat to the Strait of Hormuz since day one of this war. I mean, when they destroyed our bases and when they closed the strait, I mean, wasn't they a threat then? Why the hell did we stop then if that was the case? But as you see, it's just a lame ass excuse just to, gets right back into kinetic strikes. But all right, guys, make sure you like the video and let's keep it going.
There's no money, no nothing. We have control of money that they claim is theirs. We'll keep control of that money. When they behave properly and when they do what's right, we'll let them have their money. But right now, we're not doing that. And it's one thing is not contingent on the other.
Mr. President, on the shooting last weekend, it came barely a month after the third assassination attempt against you during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. What was your reaction when you first heard about the latest shooting, and what gives you the courage to really keep doing your job effectively without thinking about these threats every day?
Well, I can't think about it because if I thought about it a lot, I wouldn't be a very good president. I wouldn't be here, probably. I'd be up in some room with a locked door and say, just leave me alone. So I can't really think about it. If it's just something that it's a sad part of life. It's a dangerous business. What I'm doing is a dangerous business. And they say, and look, we have been maybe the most consequential, but we certainly have been one of the most consequential. This group has been a very consequential administration. And they say if you're not consequential, you don't have so much problem. If you are consequential, you do. So you have to look at that. But it's a shame. It's a very sad fact of life. Look, anybody in office, not only in this country, in other countries too, but when you are a consequential president, your life is in grave danger. I knew that. Yeah.
Mr. President, how would you characterize the current state of the talks with Iran? I guess if it were a football field, what yard line would you be on?
Well, I think we're doing very well. I think starting to give us the things that they have to give us. And if they do, that's great. And if they won't, then the man on my left is going to finish them off.
Is there a time frame in your mind?
Man, if you ask me, I say we might have lost some yards here. We lost some yards. If the end goal was what? Regime change and getting Iran to give up their nuclear enrichment program, then we lost yards on that.
What?
Is there a time frame in your mind for?
I mean, it happens quickly. The problem is every time I mention a time frame, for instance, I see, we've been doing this for a few months. Vietnam lasted 19 years. Korea lasted 8 years. Afghanistan lasted many years. They were all many, many years, and we're into it for a few months. And I read about you people like you. What's taking so long? But we're in it. We lost between two big wars, Venezuela and Iran. We lost 13 souls, 13 great people. Met the parents, great people. And it's a terrible thing, but 13. If you look at the war casualties and the deaths in wars from Vietnam and all that, they lost hundreds of thousands of people in numerous of these wars. We're very cognizant of that. We want to lose very few. We want very few to be injured. We're very careful. But war is war. War is dangerous. But we've lost 13. I saw the Democrats took an ad putting in the 13 people that were lost. And when you look at hundreds of thousands of people that were lost in the Middle East, Iraq, all the different wars we were in, we have done an amazing job. With that being said, I hate to lose 13. I hate to lose one, but we've been very capable. I mean, when you think of it, we took over Venezuela and
Well, look, man, as long as we don't put boots on the ground, I think we will be able to keep it at just 13, as long as we don't put no boots on the ground. Now, I heard there's hundreds of soldiers injured that they're not talking about, but let's wait for those numbers to be confirmed, because I have heard that they're actually hiding the numbers of injured, military personnel.
one day. We have done a similar job, but we said, well, give them a little chance at the request of somebody.